Hello everyone, this is Cody, your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, and I've got a little programming note for you. If you're listening live, you'll realize that this episode is Thursday. Don't worry, it's not suddenly the start of the work week again. This is not our typical Tuesday release of, Rancor's Brothel. This is showing up on your feeds on a Thursday. So I wanted to update you guys on what we're going to try next. This is kind of a new thing that I've spun off. Those of you who've been following us for the past year as we've been releasing Horde of the Dragon Queen. If you're friends with us on Facebook, you know we finished up Horde of the Dragon Queen about, when would that have been? About mid-February or so, roughly right around then, end of February, early March. So we've still got plenty of episodes to come out for you guys. Those are still going to be coming out. But as far as we're concerned, playing in real time, currently this date in 2016 when this episode drops, we're done with Horde of the Dragon Queen. And a little game called Curse of Strahd, the latest adventure from Dungeons & Dragons, came out. I decided to forego playing Rise of Tiamat, which is the second half of Horde of the Dragon Queen, to play Curse of Strahd. So strictly from a programming note, what we're going to do is, this is going to take up some more space on our server. We're going to see how this plays out. But the idea is that from here on out, every Tuesday, we'll have Horde of the Dragon Queen. So you will get uninterrupted episodes from here until the time the series completes, which should be, if I'm guessing right, well into the summer, maybe even a touch into the fall. I'm not sure. We're not quite done finishing editing it yet at the time I'm recording this. And then sort of like if you've been listening to us this whole time since we started Horde of the Dragon Queen, first off, thank you very much. But you'll know back then we alternated games. I was very, very concerned that due to our recording schedule, we only record every other week, and that's as long as there's no conflict. I was afraid that we would not have enough to get out a weekly game. So back in the beginning, to kind of get us ahead, I started alternating games. So the plan would be to continue that alternating game on Thursday. So, until we're out of Horde of the Dragon Queen, the current plan is to get Horde of the Dragon Queen every Tuesday, and then you should be getting alternating games on Thursdays. And this particular Thursday, we're going to start with Curse of Strahd. This is obviously, like I said, going to require extra server space on our part, but we want to know what you think. Is it worth it? Do you guys want to listen to 2 games a week? Is it going to be too confusing? Because actually it might be 3, maybe 4 games, depending on how we alternate it. So, as always, leave us a comment, between2crits@gmail.com. Give us a shout out. Let us know what you think. A little bit more on Curse of Strahd. I don't give it too much of its due in the intro to this game. Curse of Strahd takes place in Ravenloft. Ravenloft is this very, very special campaign setting. I've often said on the podcast before, it's the closest thing that Call of Cthulhu comes to touching the D&D realm, which isn't quite right. Call of Cthulhu is cosmicism. There's nothing you can do against this horror. Ravenloft is macabre. Ravenloft lives in the Gothic realm. This is Frankenstein and the picture of Dorian Gray. Everything comes with a price. Everything costs something. And sometimes you make those deals with the devil, and they're not always what you expect them to be. This is an old campaign. It dates back to 1982, I think, 84, 86. It's an even number, somewhere back in there. It's got a lot of classic AD&D villains. Very, very well-known storyline. I've been a fan of this for a very, very long time. They put out a set of graphic novels based on this. They've reprinted this adventure for almost every edition, and every time they have printed it, I've bought it again. This is the first time in a long time I've actually been able to play it, and I'm super stoked because with the podcast, not only do I get to share it with you guys, I'm actually gonna be able to complete hopefully a second campaign. I would encourage you guys not to delve too deep into this. Feel free, Google around, look at some stuff, but I plan on weaving a lot of diverse elements in this. Like I said, I've got the original AD&D campaign. I've got the 3rd edition that was published by Sword and Sorcery. I've also got the 4th edition that was published by D&D when they finally got it back, as well as this 5th edition, The Curse of Strahd. So I'm going to be pulling in aspects from all the different games because I think each one has a fascinating way of interpreting Ravenloft. So you can spoil the surprise a little bit. So I encourage you listeners, even if you're a little bit curious, hold off. Let's see what sort of magic we're going to weave, because this is going to be very, very different from Horde of the Dragon Queen. I can tell you already, just in this first episode, well, not in this first episode necessarily, in this first recording session, already the tempo has changed. The way it has changed is different. You'll also notice that, fitting with the new theme, we have a new intro. This new intro is provided by Sleep for the Weary off their new album Nocturnes. Sleep for the Weary is run by our resident sound guy for the Rancor's Brothel, Ian Shannon. Ian and I have known each other for a long time, talked to him a lot, talked about him a lot. He's been on 1 or 2 episodes of the Rancor's Brothel, I think. The Aliens episode, I believe. I think it's called In Podcasting, No One Can Hear You. In Podcasting, No One Can Hear You Scream. That's what it is. Anyway, he's got a band that just released a new album. Thematically, their music is very, very on par with what we're trying to do here. So he very graciously allowed me to use the first track off of his new album, Nocturnes, Nocturns. And we're going to be using that as the theme for Curse of Strahd. So that's very exciting. We appreciate them letting us use that. Again, if you're interested in this music, between the intro and the outro, you do actually hear the whole song. I encourage you to check out Sleep for the Weary on iTunes, SoundCloud, and at sleepfortheweary.com. While I'm thanking people, as I do like to do every so often, I want to thank Lucas and Jeff. Those guys have been helping me edit now for 6 months or better, and I think that the quality, the turnaround, the amount of time that I'm not doing all the editing is great. Those guys are always coming up with new ideas, new suggestions. I know Lucas is into doing some intros, and Jeff really, really helps crank some of these out, so I always appreciate those guys. Of course, Matt and Troy round out the group. Those guys are always there. Their support is great. They're always great fun around the table, both those guys, bumping heads. It's always good to have them. And a final shout out, one of the longtime listeners made mention that I never do count my wife. So my wife puts up with not only me editing these podcasts night after night while we're not hanging out doing anything together, she also tolerates allowing those 4 chuckleheads into my house a couple times a week. So at least every other week. So thank you to her for everything she puts up with for this. And of course, as always, you guys, the fans, we do this for you. I mean, don't get me wrong, Curse of Strahd, I'd be playing it no matter what, but to share it with you guys is something special, and I'm glad to invite you into this weird and crazy and insane world that I'm building for these guys. As always, if you have any thoughts, any suggestions, any comments, any critiques, we'd love to hear them. We'd like to hear from you guys. Give us a shout out at between2crits@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. I've rambled for way too long. Let's get the game started. So, Sleep for the Weary, if you'd get us started.
The Rancor's Brothel presents The Curse of Strahd.
Welcome to a new game, everyone.
You're so mellow.
I've got to be mellow, man.
We're just listening to the
NPR this beginning?
Did you know that the reason why they all sound the same is that they all use an identical mic? Like, they don't use any other mic at NPR, but what is it? It's like a Sennheiser 58 or something. Like, that's the only mic they use. That's why everyone at NPR always sounds exactly like this.
My buddy's the web designer for them.
Really? Yeah. So, we're here. We're starting a new game. For anyone who doesn't know, by the title or the sweet intro, or probably the little note I put before the intro, that this is not Horde of the Dragon Queen.
What?
We're playing...
Might even be a new
Sound like Tim Allen.
Maybe a new thumbnail in there.
Depends on if Lucas gets it drawn in time.
We can do that this week.
So yeah, we're playing Curse of Strahd. This is going to be something totally different. We are sitting in new positions. We've got...
For the most part.
For the most part. Troy liked his position, so he kept it.
I'm not next to Lucas, so if I would have moved, we all would have been next to each other, the same people again, so...
It bothered him that I kept touching his knee.
Yeah, well.
It really did.
Now you can
That's
touch
why
Max.
I asked to sit I wanted somebody new to touch my knee.
His hands are
So,
bigger.
we're going to go ahead and get started with this brand new game. Anything we should go ahead of time? I'm a huge Ravenloft fan. I'm a big nerd, so I'm very, very excited about this. All the guys are as well. Is there anything we should talk about before we get started?
I thought we were playing the sequel to Horde of the Dragon Queen.
Oh.
Man.
No, but by the time we finish putting out Horde of the Dragon Queen episodes, we might be recording that game.
Fair enough. How long do you think this game will run?
It depends. This game could be as short as, say, maybe 12 sessions-ish. This game could be longer than Horde of the Dragon Queen.
Okay.
Level-wise, you're supposed to go from 1 to 9, I think. 1 to 10.
1 to 10. Ooh.
But the book itself is a lot longer, but this is going to be a totally different vibe. So maybe it's good that I gave the NPR intro. This is not the same vibe you're going to get. So hopefully we're going to do some more fun things and some cool shit.
Right.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Everybody ready to get started?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, you gentlemen all live in Faerun, and for various reasons, we've already discussed them off air, but you guys can explain it when you get to your character intros. You all have sort of met up together, and as some of you are very concerned with, there is a great amount of wealth and evil attached to said wealth. You've heard rumors for the last several months of some sort of cult or religion that seems to worship dragons. So you've been following them across the plains. You've been hearing rumors out of places like El Terrell, at some little town called Greenest. Word's been spreading that there is evil out there, and with evil comes a lot of gold. So you gentlemen all met up. Probably.
I gotta time out for a second. Like, this is a shared universe.
Yes.
Like, this is awesome. I want to be Iron Man. Go ahead.
Thank you. I thought you would enjoy that.
Am I wrong?
That's awesome.
Am I wrong in thinking Ravenloft can essentially fit anywhere?
We'll find out.
I mean, like, well, okay. Never mind. I just
You guys, as you all met, your characters, as we discussed, have sort of met in the last week or so. You all, for different reasons, are sort of seeking out this cult. Unfortunately, it seems like that some of the places you've been told to go to have already been, taken care of by other adventurers. There have been other plunder that's been searched. So you all probably came from several different corners. Some of you may have investigated parts of the cult's holdings closer to Waterdeep. Others may have actually been to Greenest and some of their holdings down there. Some characters are from the mountains. Maybe they have a connection with them there. But you all sort of have gotten together in the last caravan, and you are sort of in the green fields. And Greenest, for those of you who have been there, makes this place look... Greenest makes... this place that you're in now makes Greenest look big. This is a small, one-horse town. You have stopped in a tavern. Most of you probably tend to stay outside during, to rest and stuff. But you must say that the weather has sort of brought you inside. Like I said, you've sort of been traveling together because you're sharing the only main road. But all of you have gotten a room for the night. Maybe you've gotten it together. That's sort of up to you guys. You're sort of thinking about that. You're all sitting in a tavern. And you all got the sense that tonight was going to be very different. It felt cold. Regardless of the warm sun, everything felt cold today. And like I said, luckily you happened upon this tavern. You have a place to stay, but it's a dull country tavern. Nothing exciting. The food is mediocre. You have a few town drunks, but it's very, very small. So you find yourself sitting at this table. And for those of you who have been paying attention outside, the fog that was light today, and again, this is light in the afternoon sun, it's rolled in with the evening. And now it's becoming very, very thick. It's hard to see within a few feet outside the door. But inside, the meat is cold. You drink meat warm. So the meat is warm, the beer is cold, food is adequate. There's a bit of music and soft revelry and merrymaking. So you guys just find yourselves, happily inside, as outside it's turning dark and rainy and, perhaps some peals of thunder off in the distance. So you guys are sitting around the table. I'll allow you to introduce your characters, and we'll go from there. Whoever wants to start.
Okay. I am playing Davun Brassrocks. Every dwarf I've ever made has been from Clan Brassrocks, and Davun is no exception.
Which is the greatest name.
I prefer Peter Rocks.
To each their own.
Okay. I
Peter Stones.
am a mercenary veteran who saw too many people die in combat and became a life domain cleric.
Nice.
Sir?
So I'm playing a Goliath character. For those out there that are unfamiliar, as I was before we played this game, about Goliaths. Just a little background real quick on those kind of characters is they're very competitive. They're very one-upsmen sort of deal, but they're also very fair. And the way they structure their names, everybody has a first name, a nickname, and a last name. And they're pretty unique. So my character's name is Pithur, Colossus, Illyaraspitha. If you couldn't tell, I'm a big Colossus fan from the X-Men. You're welcome.
We're just calling you Colossus.
Which is what they usually go by. People,
The nickname.
a lot of times, will go by their nickname.
I'm calling him Blaster.
And then yes, combined, Jeff and I will be Master Blaster.
You are 7 feet tall.
I am a 7 foot tall, which is Colossus' actual height in the comics. You're welcome. In his metal form. I've come here to seek the next great adventure. I've kind of outgrown my village. So I'm trying to just find the next best adventure, and definitely also seeking a group in which to do that with, because I work best with buddies. Yay, friends.
Team player. Matt?
I am playing Tribeless Bozak. I'm a Dragonborn, and Dragonborns put their surname first, hence the name Tribeless, my first name being Bozak. I am a sorcerer. My egg was stolen from my parents, and I was smuggled away in a caravan of rogues that were attacked, and my egg was left in the desert. And it was the desert of, I know this, Anarok. Anarok? Does that sound right?
Sure.
The Great Sand Sea of Faerun. And in the desert heat and the sun beating down, I was already near hatching. I hatched. But how does an infant take care of themselves? Now, Dragonborn can walk a few hours of birth or hatching. But I essentially survived my childhood through the use of wild magic, which I didn't know I was doing at the time. The sorcery magic kept me alive, sustained me, kept me safe. So I grew into that, always having it as kind of a wild ability. I grew up alone, so I'm a little dodgy, a little weird. I hear things. I grew up without a moral compass, so I am neutral. I have made my living... I started to see imbalances in the world once I became old enough to go out into it. And I started to make my living by bringing back balance to the force, if it were, which I found out people will pay you for. So sometimes I would be attacking, nobles and good lords of areas, because even, you can't rule an area without having to do some shitty things. So it's okay. And evil lords as well. And I would do that by infiltrating and sneaking in and slitting throats in the night. And then in my escape, which I would never seem to plan that far ahead, my escape would be brought on by the wild magic, which is how I've honed my abilities over the years. So sneak in, slit the throat, and then the escape is when I have to use my magic abilities. So I like a close kill, but I'm okay with using my magical forces if necessary. Cool. And that's kind of my story. I am a golden dragonborn. But through the growing up in the desert, my scales, instead of being shiny, are kind of dulled. They almost look kind of coppery, like a reddish metal kind of color instead of straight up gold. But I am a gold dragonborn.
I just realized we're using the exact same... You guys are using the exact same characters.
The little figure characters he's talking
Probably
about.
should anyway, otherwise we get confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I was just thinking about it. I'm like, we have a dwarf,
Yeah.
we have a spellcaster,
Yep.
we have a rogue, and we have a barbarian. If anyone cares, these are the old... What is this game, Jeff?
Hero Quest.
These are the old Hero Quest things. Anyway, my apologies. I just was sitting here going, we haven't decided what the characters are, and I'm sitting here looking at them like, oh no, wait, those are perfect.
I forgot something to say. I'm sorry. As a neutral character, I consider myself very friendless, especially as a loner. But once loyalty is earned, then I'm a fierce friend. But I am very secretive. I always wear a cloak with the hood up if possible. So just so everybody knows, like, I'm trying to be mysterious.
Lucas?
My
I don't
background's
trust you yet.
not nearly as long as anyone else's. Because
Especially Matt's.
I didn't write a 4-page story like I did last time for the last campaign. I am
Which will make you significantly less pissed when you die.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bother. Didn't really invest into the guy. That's okay. I am playing a tiefling rogue. If you know what a tiefling is, descendant of demons, basically. So I do have horns and a tail. Usually a red. I can't remember if it's scale. I don't know if it's scaly. It's more just skin color, I guess.
You're kind of Hellboy-esque.
Yeah.
Thinner, though, right? They're not as beefy.
Right.
Yeah.
Think Mewtwo.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Speaking my language.
Hellboy.
There you go. My character's name is Lestat Shadowrun, which I didn't write down the last name, but I should do that. What? Don't left me. You got Colossus over here.
Yeah,
And you got golden balls over here.
Brass.
Stronger.
Yeah, as I said, I'm a rogue, and I'm also a charlatan. So I've sort of just lived on the streets, making money off of performance and picking pockets, and I'm sort of just trying to find a new place to live, new pockets to pick, that sort of thing.
Cool. You good?
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen. So obviously, as you can tell, you're not exactly the most popular individuals right now at the table. It seems like only the one brave, not that they have many, they probably have two servers in this room. There's only one brave, young lad, probably because he's too dumb to be afraid of the guy who looks like the demon or the 7-foot guy. So you guys kind of have a table back in the corner away from everyone else, I'm
Or
assuming.
the Dragonborn.
7.5 foot.
No, excuse me, 7.5 foot. 7'6".
You have to get that right.
So
The Sean Bradley of the group.
You almost have to duck because the low beams in this, the I-beams in this, the wooden I-beams going across the top are probably just at 8 feet.
Watch those ceiling fans.
I just sit on the floor. And then...
Would anybody like a peanut?
So you guys are off in the corner, and like I said, there's a warm fire. It's cozy in here. Outside, you can sort of hear the pitter patter of rain, the rolling fog. Maybe, like I said, bits of thunder. But again, it's comfortable in here.
It makes sense that, like, especially the three of us would have gotten together because we are all the odd man out. We're all in common races. And then you, as an old campaigner, Jeff, would be the person that would be comfortable with a melting pot.
Yeah.
Kind of a setup. It really works. We unknowingly planned this.
So you guys are sitting there, conversation, I'm assuming, talks of how you're going to track down this dragon called, how you're going to make money off of it, how you're going to prevent the next giant war from sweeping across Faerun, that kind of stuff. When suddenly you perception checks. Let's see who can roll.
When you perception checks, that's a nice way to start.
I need dice.
I thought you had it let out.
18!
Funny perception. 15.
13.
14.
So perhaps because they're sitting closer to the window, maybe not. But okay, I also have to check because I didn't write down their names ahead of time. So we have Davun, Pithur.
Colossus.
Let's go by Colossus.
It's gonna be Bozak.
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 Ooh.
Oh, I'll read the
You
Balzac.
wrote Balzac? You fuck!
I thought you were making a French connection here. There is a very famous French
Yeah,
writer
I
named
know.
Henri de Balzac.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay. So Davun, Pithur,
laugh about his
Bozak.
Bozak is a kind of draconian from the Dragonlance universe.
Okay, and Lestat over here. Okay. So
I should have went with Arak, because that's the gold draconians, but I like the way Bozak sounds.
So, Pithur and Bozak, you both hear a bit of commotion outside. Again, it's a lonely road. It's the main road, but it's not exactly like a lot of people travel this part of the road. And you would expect caravans to travel during the day. So given that it's evening, you can't see the stars out. The fog is that heavy. But you do start hearing sort of an audible creaking of wheels. Creak, 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 creak. You know, the clop of a horse. You guys are probably too distracted by the little bit of music, you know, something sort of along those lines, but you're hearing it creak, 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 creak. And suddenly, the tavern door, which is not really, you know, nothing's really happened in a while, nobody's come in or out. The tavern door suddenly bursts open, and a hush falls over the room.
As Mina Harker walks in.
Framed by the lamp-lit fog, a form strides through the doorway. His heavy-booted footfalls and the jingle of coins shatter the silence. His brightly colored clothes are draped in loose folds about him, and his hat hangs askew, hiding his eyes in shadows. Without hesitation, he walks up to your table and stands proudly in a wide stance with folded arms. In an accented voice, he says, "I have been sent to you to deliver this message. If you be creatures of honor, you will come to my master's aid at first light. It is not advisable to travel the Svalich woods at night." He pulls from his tunic a sealed letter addressed to all of you. He drops it on the table.
Specifically to all of us?
Yes.
Oh, that's creepy.
Take the west road from here some 5 hours' march down the Svalich woods. There you will find my master. And as I said, he sweeps out. Gotta go into my secret stash
We got
here.
props.
Psh. Drops a letter on the table.
Did you really wax seal something?
And with a jingle of flair,
There goes all that.
he turns around. You see him. He tosses some coins on the table, and he says, "Drinks for everyone. Dance. Make merry." He turns back to you. "We only have but one life to live." And you see him run out the door.
Unless we go to General Hospital.
And you hear sort of the clop clop and the creak as you hear a wagon pull
These
off
are the
in the
days of our
distance.
lives.
Okay. Did he say we were in the woods?
No, you are in the plains.
Yeah, I know we were. But didn't he say something about
He said
traveling
5
in the
hours
woods?
march.
He did?
Yeah, 5 hours west into the woods.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. So this is an original AD&D campaign, and I've decided, because I'm a dick, you're not getting any maps this game. Which is why I told you to bring paper. So if you want to make maps, which is advisable,
Well, I would have brought bigger paper than this fucking steno pad from Staples.
I didn't say you necessarily need to make a map now, but
So we're not
I'm...
going to get to see the map of the castle we're walking through?
No.
Fuck yes.
Well, I gotta buy graph paper.
I almost said that last night when I said, you guys
I
want
probably
more...
should have said graph paper.
It's fine. You got time. I didn't think about it till last night, but I thought you guys
We
would
can do
appreciate
room
that.
maps on the dry erase thing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
if it
Well,
becomes
yeah,
important.
but that's the room we're in.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
that's going to help us to be able to remember to fucking write it down.
I'm not going to draw every room. I'm going to draw only room that things happen in. Otherwise, I'm going to say you're in a 20 by 20 room with 2 doors on the far side.
Okay, are we going to be able to find our way out if we don't draw a map?
This is the question.
Yeah.
Because this is what makes the original Castle Ravenloft game so much fun. So, anyway, yes, he said 5 hours march to the Svalich woods.
West.
Svalich. Can you spell that?
Svalich. The Svalich woods.
Okay.
The
Is
letter-
he already gone? Do we not get to
yeah,
interact
he,
with
walked, he walked out.
No, he's gone.
He threw us money, though?
No, he threw money on the table. You see the barman has
Drinks for
quickly
everybody.
he
No.
he quickly sweeps up the money and begins pouring. Why? You can interact. I'm just saying
No,
that.
I was just going to try to take some of the money.
Oh,
If he's already got it, then it's gone. Can't do anything about it now.
Do you want me to read that? Because I don't have to sound out the big words. I'm just fucking with you. I'm sorry.
I wasn't sure I was supposed to open this or not.
yeah, you are. I just wanna let me see.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Did you get the right one?
Yes.
I love that you sealed it in real wax.
By the way, that's really hard to do, and you probably won't be seeing a lot more of those.
Would you like to read it for everybody?
Yeah, it's a podcast.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome to read it. You're louder than I am.
All right. So the tiefling reads it in silence, where it's promptly torn away from him by
She didn't read it out.
by
I didn't read
Mr.
the whole thing.
Bozak.
I didn't say I was a mister.
Oh, fair enough.
Hail to thee of might and valor. I, a lowly servant of Barovia?
Don't have to sound out the big words.
Okay, that's a made-up fucking word. There's a big difference. Send honor to thee. We plead for thy so desperately needed assistance. The love of my life. Fucking cursive. Irina Kolyana has been afflicted by an evil so deadly that even the good people of our village cannot protect her. She languishes from her wound, and I would have her saved from this menace. There is much wealth in this community. I offer all that might be had to thee and thy fellows if thou but shalt answer my desperate plea. Come quickly, for her time is at hand. All that I have shall be thine. Signed, is that a K? Kolyan, I'm just going to spell it. If you're going to write this down. Kolyan is the first name.
Kolyan.
I think it's an I.
It is.
Okay. Indirovich.
Kolyan Inderovich.
And he has a title underneath it that is covered in wax.
Mm-hmm.
Can I break the wax off?
That's up to you.
Sorry, that was out of character. He is the Burgomaster?
That is a real word, by the way. He's the Burgomaster.
Okay. Can
Spell that.
I roll an intelligence check to see if I know what a Burgomaster is?
It's Burgo.
Yeah. And then the word master.
Sure. Roll an intelligence check. That's fine.
Intelligence 14.
You're not familiar with the word yourself, but you would assume that it's some sort of
Master
equivalent.
of burgers.
Huh?
Nothing, go ahead.
Yeah. That's literally what it means in the German. It's master of boroughs. It's mayor.
Okay.
Now, your character doesn't necessarily know that term, but you get from the idea, from the writing and so forth.
From
that it
my
is
Greek and Latin derivatives at desert school, I know that it's...
right. Yes.
You did? Yeah. Wait, what was her name? Irina?
Irina Kolyana.
Which is weird that her last name and his first name are very similar.
How much do you know about Slovakian naming?
I'm Slovakian.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, I mean, Russian naming is...
Yeah.
I mean, but it's more middle name carryover than last name.
This was also originally written by Tracy Hickman, so there is, I mean, you know,
But
the concepts are there, not the actual practice of the etymology. That's you guys. You can hold on to it if you want. So the script makes its rounds. Everyone has read it.
Yep.
By now, you've all been served.
We were heading west anyway.
Not necessarily. Roll a d4. I don't know whether you're heading north, south, east, or west.
What's a 3 give me?
I got 4. Because he asked me.
All right, sure, you were heading west.
Do you guys feel like a pit stop?
sure, everyone's up for a good challenge.
We'll see.
Sounds like there might be some gold involved. I'm down for that.
By now, you all have been served an extra pint of beer.
You have to earn this gold rogue.
Watch me.
You've all been served an extra pint of beer. Everyone seems the revelry has picked up. The man and again, this guy was flowing robes of color, multiple colors. He had sort of a nice shaved goatee, but not quite the Van Dyke with the upturned mustache.
Was it like a Technicolor Dreamcoat?
No.
Okay.
What would you gentlemen like to do?
I mean, it's nighttime, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want to sleep it off and then go in the morning? When the weather dies down? Because it's apparently kind of nasty out.
It's probably best.
He said not to leave till first light.
Oh, this is true. I mean, essentially, we're just eating and hanging out, so we might as well sleep for the night and take off.
Cool.
I backed myself into a corner by the fireplace, as deep in shadow as I can be,
That's fine.
and just kind of watch the crowd.
Like I
Enjoy
said,
my beverage.
What other kind of people are in this room?
it's mostly farmhands. There are probably a couple of other sellswords. I mean, not that you all are sellswords, but there are a couple other adventurers like yourselves. But I would say that the room has probably got maybe 20 people in it. Most of them seem to be the farmer from 2 miles down who rode his horse in to have a couple of beers.
Is there a dwarf, a gnome, a drow, and a man?
No, there's not.
No, they're floating above us.
The shared
The, sun,
universe,
the
guys.
moon was blotted out.
Your timeline's not quite accurate, Lucas.
This is trying.
Anything else?
Once I'm satisfied that I can't learn anything from this group, I go to bed.
It's fine. Did you guys get shared rooms or different rooms?
I say shared.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 votes for a shared room.
I get
Shared.
my own room.
Okay.
Thought you were sleeping in the corner.
No, I said I was watching, and then I was going to go to bed.
Okay, so 3 in one in the other. It's fine. Not a problem. You guys wake up. You sleep fine. As you wake up, the day is overcast. The fog has receded, but not a lot. It's sort of that haze in the distance, sort of. I mean, in the Greenlands, it's flat, but it's not perfectly flat. As you'll recall, there are hills and stuff around Greenest and so forth. So it is a bit of a rolling hill, and you can notice that the fog is still settling in between the shallows of the hills.
How do we want to travel?
No, okay.
You said 5 hours march.
Yeah, did we get here on foot to where we're at now, or were we with a caravan? Did we have a cart? Like, what did we have? Horses?
I wouldn't assume that you would necessarily have horses. If you have gold and would like to have had a horse, you can erase from your gold to have a horse.
How much is a
I
horse?
don't have that much gold.
I don't think either of you
I
have
think
that much
it's
gold.
75, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we walked.
I would assume that you all sort of got here in different ways, because you got to remember you had just come from Baldur's Gate or El Terrell or somewhere from the south. You all just sort of by happenstance ended up here. So I would assume that some of you hitched rides, some of you have walked. A lot of this portion has been walked, or jumping on a caravan for a short time before it turned off, paying a farmer a gold to take you somewhere, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you guys would be walking unless you can find somebody to buy their horse from. If you want to pool your money, one of you could ride it.
No,
I was
we're
scared.
walking.
Yeah.
I'll ride on Troy's shoulders.
There you go.
Can do that. Could probably carry 2 people.
So you guys start to walk.
Okay.
Obviously, 5 hours, it's going to take you, till
Lunchtime.
right? Did we buy any rations?
We didn't have to. We all have explorers packs that have 10 days.
Good to know.
Actually, I only have 5 days.
Well, you're a
So
tiefling.
that
I hope you
is
can
true.
hunt.
Wait, well, can we? Yeah, can we?
I have a hunter's trap. We can set that.
You could convince them to sell you some fresh food that would last a day or 2. They wouldn't have rations at the inn. They would sell you like some apples and cheese that would get you through the today, or
No, so it would just be like 1 day's worth of rations, basically.
Right? Yes.
Okay, so that's not really at this one.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys head off into the woods, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And as you walk, you realize the sun's getting higher and higher. It's cool out, it's got that mist feel in the air, right? The way that you get with the low-lying fog. And you realize that it's going to be a dreary day. The sun, as it keeps rising, normally the fog will burn off, and in this case, the fog hasn't burned off. And as you march, the fog hasn't burned off, and it hasn't burned off. But you suddenly realize that as you're walking, it suddenly got really, really hilly. Like, not quite mountainous, but geography is starting to change. You're getting into more of the hillside. It's getting hilly and also wooded. You notice black pools of water stand like dark mirrors in and around the muddy roadway. Giant trees loom on both sides of the road, their branches clawing at the mist. And you're walking and you're walking. Are we stopping for lunch? Are we stopping to get a bite to eat?
Sure.
Can we eat while we walk? It's rations.
It's up to you guys. I just didn't know if you would stop.
Is there any reason to stop?
Fatigue.
Okay, it's been 5 hours or whatever.
That's fine. Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. Find
Yeah.
a dry spot on the side of the road, sit down and eat.
Sure.
You don't have much luck at finding a dry spot. You could sit on your pack if you wanted to. Like I said, you could definitely tell it rained the night before. Like I said, you're starting to notice sporadic trees, but it's getting thicker. But again, fog is blocking your view from much more than, say, a few hundred yards. But you are seeing trees in the distance. And again, like I said, the hills are becoming a lot more than just simple foothills. So go ahead and erase a ration. I won't make you guys. You can eat again tonight, but it will count as that ration. So we take a short break, say, 30 minutes to eat, 20 minutes to eat. You continue walking. And now it should be noon, you would imagine, but you've not really seen the sun today. It's all mist covered. It's hazy. The fog, if anything, seems to be getting thicker and not dissipating from the light of the sun.
What season are we in? Like early spring?
Ish, yeah. And as you guys continue to walk along, you suddenly realize that there's a structure looming ahead of you.
I see a structure looming ahead of us.
You do. The fog spills, and at this point, you're seeing very, very high hills now. We're talking, several hundred feet instead of just the little foothills. And you are seeing that it is thickly forested now on both sides. In front of you, the fog spills out of the forest to swallow up the road behind you. Ahead, jutting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road, are high stone buttresses looming gray in the fog. Huge iron gates hang on the stonework. Dew clings with cold tenacity to the rusted bars. 2 headless statues of armed guardians flank the gate, their heads now lying among the weeds at their feet. They greet you only with silence.
That's a good thing.
Right. So you sort of...
You want to fight any golems?
you're sort of seeing, like I said, it's someone has built a defensive perimeter, basically, here. So between the 2 hills, they built sort of this several 100-foot long wall, and it's high. I mean, the gate itself, we're not talking swinging garden gate. This gate is like...
The Jurassic Park.
Right. Like, we're talking, like... It's probably 20-some feet high and probably 10, 15 feet wide. It's 2 swinging gates. And you do see these sort of very, regally dressed, full-plate armor carrying giant swords, statues flanking each side of the gate. But you do notice that the statues' heads have been removed and are laying in the muck. Construction seems old.
Ooh.
And as you...
Stone cutting.
Sure.
What are you doing?
He's a dwarf. He knows about stone.
Yep.
All right.
Unnatural 20.
Nice.
It's kind of like how your character knows about dicks.
It's old.
Oh,
You gotta make the jokes to the mic.
Nope, we're going to edit it out now.
Yeah, timing's all
I'm
gone.
going to edit it out. It's fine.
So, your character would notice that the stone's been lying there for... The stone was laid maybe 400 years ago, give or take.
Okay.
You'd say somewhere between 300 and 500 years ago. It's not a type of stone you instantly recognize. It is... I'm trying to think of what the normal stone construction would be. I don't know if that's limestone or if that's...
Probably not.
It would be... What would they have cut stone out of then? Granite?
Yeah.
So you notice that it is protective material. So it is some sort of granite. But you can look at it and you're like, I've never seen a granite like this before. It's not ore from any of the mountains you've ever been to or would notice.
Okay.
Do the heads look like they were cleanly removed?
Or crumbled.
Or...
You do see signs of wear. Definitely the elements have affected it because it has been around for 400, 500 years. And you can tell that none of this has been well maintained. You do see chunks out of the wall, and you can, sort of the whatever limestone they used to lay it together and, cobble it together. The heads, however, while they are showing signs of decay, you would expect that they had been removed intentionally. And as you approach to inspect it, you notice the gates, maybe by the wind, maybe not, just sort of creak open as you approach.
Like on the Addams Family?
Yeah, a little bit. Because they're big.
I say we go through.
Yeah, I didn't know we were stopping to marvel at a gate.
No, I was looking at statues.
Yeah.
There's a difference. I meant to pull this picture for you guys because I do think it's very, very cool.
That is
Nice.
very cool.
Like, so I'm showing it, like, I'm saying this is huge.
It's a huge gate.
It's a huge gate. Okay, so as you guys walk through, and you realize on the other side that it's no longer hilly per se, it's more heavily forested. And you notice that the forest is thick, nigh impenetrable. This is a wild forest. You don't see hunting paths, you don't see footpaths, you don't see anything. You walk along a little bit, and What are your passive perceptions?
14.
14.
12.
14.
Matt sucks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I rolled a 1. So, Davun, you smell death.
Okay.
Like that. Your character was on the battlefield, right?
Yep.
And especially since you're becoming more of a religious man, you've been around death a lot.
Yep.
And you got that, it's that smell of not just death. So it's blood and it's decayed flesh, and it's enough that it's caught your attention. This isn't just a bit of roadkill. This is there's something to this. You can tell it's just off the road, and the wind is bearing it through the trees, and you sort of caught this scent.
Okay, I'll point it out to everyone else.
I'm gonna say, and as Davun sort of stops and slows, the rest of you you can sort of catch that scent on the air.
Fresh?
Perception roll.
Perception or insight?
Yeah, we'll go with perception, if you want to know.
23.
17.
21.
Wow.
11.
Everyone except for Matt, everyone
cold
except
today.
for
Bozak.
Everyone except for Bozak, you notice that it's not fresh. It's almost, it's been exposed to the elements, you would say probably a week, maybe? Like it's not that rotting, oh my god, it's been in the sun. It's older than that. It's a musty, it's an aged death. You're not tasting it on your mouth like you do with fresh death.
No, you said it's in the woods, it's not inside the gate where we just walked in?
You've walked in the gate, you've walked for a few minutes, and now you're sort of maybe another 50 yards ahead and somewhere off in the brush. It's not too far off the road, but it's not on the road that you're on.
Okay. I want to go check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes.
Okay.
I will go.
I will go.
I roll my eyes
As
and walk
Colossus,
behind
you should
them.
be talking with a Russian accent.
Colossus will go.
Come, Reds.
Pass on that?
What's roleplay?
I mean, I'll roleplay, but I'm not going to do a terrible Russian accent for this whole game.
Come on.
I appreciate that and support your decision.
There are going to be plenty of terrible Russian accents with names like Kolyan Irandirovich. I got the terrible Slovakian accents covered for the next 9 months.
All right, fair enough.
The foul scent leads you to a human corpse half buried in the underbrush about 15 feet from the road. The young man appears to be a commoner. His muddy clothes are torn and raked with claw marks. Crows have been at the body, which is surrounded by several large paw prints. The man has obviously been dead for about a week. He holds a crumpled envelope in one hand.
Okay, claws and paw prints. Can we tell what kind of animal this is?
Nature roll.
What about survival, Jinx?
Survival will get you something different.
Animal handling?
Should I go ahead and roll
Animal
survival?
handling at disadvantage.
I
Why
don't know.
disadvantage?
Because reasons.
I know nothing.
I'm rolling the wrong dice.
I got 19 on survival.
Okay.
16.
16 with your disadvantage. Definitely, Pithur, you, Colossus, you get that it wasn't a domesticated animal. It wasn't some sort of war dog. It's big. And it's big like some of the stuff you've seen in the mountains big. This isn't those teeny little puppies that they call wolves. This was something pretty big, and you can probably tell with a 16 that there were several of them.
I smell a challenge, folks.
I smell a dead body.
Matt, it occurs to you, you rolled survival, right?
Yeah.
So
19.
it occurs to Bozak that this kill is a week old, and it's still here. Whatever tore into it, I mean, we've got throat ripped out, we've got, but you're not seeing entrails ripped. And I mean, crows have pecked at it.
Something killed it but didn't eat it. Yeah, I got it.
I mean, and they appear to have left it.
I didn't roll high enough or anything.
I don't say that.
I'll check the envelope.
You find
Another wax sealed envelope.
another wax sealed envelope.
I pat the body down looking for anything else in the pockets, like money.
perception checks, by the way, from everyone except for Davun because he's reading the letter.
15.
13.
15.
So Lestat and Bozak, you both hear creaking metal in the distance.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to say you hear that because you were searching the pockets, Matt. Bozak finds 1 gold coin tucked away in a pocket. You don't recognize the coin. Like, it's a gold coin, clearly. But the image on it, the face, the markings on it, don't make any sense to you.
I hold it out for my companions to see if they recognize it.
What do we roll for that?
Intelligence.
Yeah, sure, an intelligence-based roll is fine.
Just add intelligence on it?
You can use, just roll and add your intelligence.
21.
I don't know what it is.
You come to the same conclusion. Jeff apparently finished reading the letter. You come to the same conclusion that Bozak did. Just as long as one of you reads it to the podcast here a second.
Yeah, I will.
You come to the same conclusion that Bozak did. This is unusual. You don't recognize it either, which is disconcerting because you're a rogue. You're pretty good at handling money. Yeah, you don't recognize it at all. In fact, what you also notice is that, like I said, you're good at spotting a fake. It's not a fake, but you couldn't tell. You know every place that mints money on the western half of Faerun. Nothing that you know of, including old stuff that's 1,000 years old, made this.
Is there
And-
writing on it?
There is.
What language?
Language we can read.
It is a language you can read. It's only numbers.
Okay.
Okay, what are the numbers?
The numbers are... remind me and I'll look it up exactly later because I don't know where it's at in the book.
Okay.
Okay.
It is,
Do you
say...
want to hold this or you want me to hold this?
Oh, I didn't hand it to you.
Okay, well that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
So put it in your inventory then. Odd coin of some kind.
We'll say it was... don't quote me on this, but I believe it says 345. You would assume with your 21 that this is a mint year, but that mint year doesn't make any sense to you.
What year are we in? Like, what are they?
Like, I'm trying to remember how they do it in Faerun. You're in like 1242 or something.
Like I said, I think it's later. I was trying to look through. I guess I don't know where this setting is. So
I'd have to look and see exactly when Horde of the Dragon Queen is supposed to start. I want to say it's between 900 and 1200.
I wish I knew we were doing this because I have a septum from the Oblivion video game. It's an actual septum.
Yeah.
But, you could use it as a product.
Oh man, no, I got this coin from Portugal from 1757.
Nice.
Out of the titties.
But this is absolutely nothing that you recognize. The visage doesn't make any sense. Jeff, will you please read that to the podcast?
Hail to thee of might and valor. I, the burgomaster of Barovia, send you honor with despair. My adopted daughter, the fair Irina Kalyana, has been these past nights bitten by a vampire. For over 400 years, this creature has drained the lifeblood of my people. Now my dear Irina languishes and dies from an unholy wound caused by this vile beast. He has become too powerful to conquer. So I say to you, give us up for dead, and encircle this land with the symbols of good. Let holy men call upon their power, that the devil may be contained within the walls of weeping Barovia. Leave our sorrows to our graves, and save the world from this evil of our fates. This evil fate of ours. Wow. There is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life. Kolyan Indirovich. Bergamot.
Who is it addressed to?
Hail to thee of might and valor.
Who was bitten?
the daughter. The girl.
Yeah, Irina.
I mean,
His adopted daughter. That letter sounds fun. Challenge ahead again.
Matt, the coin would have been stamped 348.
Funny that the letter speaks of holy men and devils when we have a holy man and a devil.
You gotta bring balance.
oh, we're dead.
You're all neutral.
I thought you were
Now,
going to
you
kill
know,
us 'cause you need balance.
We bring balance to the land.
I will take Is there it's insight, not investigation anymore, right?
Well, you said we heard.
Well,
You said we heard
There's
mechanical
investigation.
noises.
You did.
It's investigation.
I will take. Do you pass the letter around to everybody?
Yeah.
I will take investigation rolls.
15.
10. 11.
9.
And I will actually take advantage rolls for Davun and for Lestat.
Question that
15.
13.
I just thought of about perception rolls.
Yeah.
If your passive perception is higher than the perception roll you made, does that count for anything?
No, because the idea is that you're looking and you're looking in the wrong place.
Okay.
It occurred to you, Davun, even though you didn't open the first letter, you don't think the wax seals were the same.
No, they weren't. One was white and one was red.
And in fact, upon pointing that out, Lestat, you realized that the letters were sealed differently. One was sealed not only in color of wax, but I couldn't find anything cool to seal it with, because otherwise it would have actually been sealed differently. You noticed that this one, Davun, was sealed with a B, a cursive B, and Lestat, yours was sealed with something else. It was a symbol.
Okay.
All right, piece it together, I think.
Do I know the symbol?
No. I'm not going to show it to you in the book either, because there's all kinds of other important stuff on that page. But I am going to describe it to you if I can remember what page it's on.
Could I tell if the handwriting was different in each?
Look at both of them.
It looked like the same font. Nope.
Different.
Let the rogue charlatan roll. See, they look different.
I mean, I have eyeballs. I mean, it's definitely different font. And no, yeah, the lettering is. The loops are not. I mean, the letters are not consistent.
This is going to be exciting.
What you see on the what was in red appeared to be a winged bird, large winged bird, probably more crow or raven-like. It does have talons extended, and behind it is sort of an emblazoned shield with some towers.
All right, companions. This body's been here a week. I know that because of my survival techniques. I think this other letter is actually from the burgomaster. I don't think ours is. When we get to this village, they'll all be dead.
That sounds like a legitimate deduction.
Yes. Okay. Can we step back for a minute? Was it no? Matt
We're
was
being
picking through
lured
pockets.
here.
Was technically I the only one who heard the sound because Matt was picking through pockets earlier?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to point that out. Do you guys hear that mechanical sound in the distance?
You didn't say mechanical, you said metal grating.
Medical, mechanical. It's similar.
Is it done? Is it continuous?
In this world, it would be mechanical.
Once pointed out, can we hear it?
No. You seem to, you were reading and you seem to recall something. It only was just for the span of maybe 8 to 10 seconds, Lucas.
Okay.
Sort of a very sweeping mechanical grating noise.
It's one of the gates closing. Theory.
Could be.
Anyway, whoever wrote the letter to us, they're luring us in.
Appears to be that way.
And I, for one, would like to meet them.
Well, here we have seemingly two options. We can try to figure out what that noise I heard was down that way, or we can try to make our way to the house, which is a different direction, I'm assuming.
You guys hear a wolf howl in the distance.
Large wolf, small wolf?
Big wolf. Big wolf.
All right, let's F off.
Big wolf. Actually, sort of the howl is long and deep, and as it echoes into the air, as it reaches its pitch, you hear 3 or 4 more answer it. And in this case, we will start with the fear rolls, because these are not wolves like anyone else has ever encountered.
Now explain that to people at home, because they don't exactly know what we're doing.
These are like sand checks. I'm going to involve it in this game, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We are rolling.
You roll a d20.
And we're adding...
I thought we were doing the
No,
D100s.
you will add your wisdom modifier.
Wisdom modifier.
We'll
or
call it a
save?
wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw.
Yep.
18.
25.
8.
The two of you roll me d6s.
I'm assuming 6 is not good.
Yeah, I got a 6 too.
Um,
We shit our pants.
at this howl, something gravitates within the two of you. Colossus, you just whatever this is like it's not natural. You fought a lot. You fought things, you fought big things. Whatever this is, where these howls are coming from, where they're at, it's not natural. Something is wrong here. Something is very wrong. And that is your only thought because you bolt. You're the road. I've got to go down the road. You are just running down the road at this point. And Lestat, you're right behind him. You're like, fuck this. I am done. I am out of here. So you guys, as you hear more howling, see these two guys just book it down the road, screaming.
Bye.
Like towards the gate we came through, or
Like, are they heading, farther in or farther out?
Each roll me a die. High or low. Just let me know whether you get high or low.
Which die?
It doesn't matter. Or do
They
you
all
get...
give you 50-50 odds.
Yes. So pick which one you like.
I rolled a 6.
Okay?
I rolled a 1.
Different directions. Lucas is headed towards the gate. And Colossus is headed down the road.
Somehow I'm emboldened by the fear that I want to smash it.
So wait, he's heading towards the howling? I'm heading the way?
The howls are coming... The original howl is somewhere deeper in the woods. You can't tell where it's coming
Laterally?
from. Yes, laterally. The answering calls seem to be surrounding you.
Okay.
Nice.
Now, alright, so how far do we run before we stop?
We'll give these two a chance to do anything if they'd like to do anything. So you see the two of them split in opposite directions.
Pirate ghost!
They both yell jinkies and run in opposite directions.
Burrow!
Like, whoa!
As you
I yell...
You got a grappling hook?
No. I yell at the tiefling as persuasively as possible to stop and not be such a pussy.
roll persuade.
A natural 20. I'm sorry, no, 21.
Lucas, roll a wisdom saving throw.
This didn't work the first time. Didn't work that time either.
You stop.
A 5?
Hey, whatever, Matt. What do you say?
Get back here, you demon spawn.
For whatever reason, that make you stop in your tracks.
Now I'm just mad.
Hey, wait a minute, you son of a...
You
get
call
the
in
other
demon
one.
spawn, you dragon dick.
I'll yell at the Goliath, hold your ground.
All right. Persuasion versus wisdom roll. You stop. Nat 20!
I critted.
Did you roll a nat 20?
I rolled a 1 and you
failed.
failed.
Wow. That's great. You stop so fast, you throw up a little bit in your mouth.
You might have left some trench marks.
I think he's gonna decide something otherwise.
Wait, what?
The thought of him questioning your courage enrages you. And you're like trying to turn around before you completely stop running, and you clock your face into a tree. So you take a point of damage from smoking that tree.
Damn.
You just turn around and you're like, oh!
You're too tall,
Unstoppable force, immovable object, or vice versa.
Yeah. Colossus.
This is gonna work out so well.
Lucas, roll me a perception check.
Okay.
No. The Juggernaut.
What's your passive perception, actually?
14.
You happen to you're out on the road and you sort of stopped, and you happen to.
Well, I mean, how far did they get before he yelled at me?
I mean, you bolted. So what's your movement speed?
30, but how far were we before we found the body?
Like 15 feet.
Okay.
So I mean, like you're on.
You said 50 yards.
You did say 50 yards.
And then I read the
Then
description.
why
it says
did you
15
ask
feet.
if you just...
Well, I don't know.
Were you testing them?
Yes. Always test your DM.
And then I read the description. It says 15 feet. I'm like, okay, it's 15 feet off the road. Then that's not really okay. Whatever. I thought it was farther off. Regardless, you both made it at least to the road. Lucas, you happened to glance up and realize that the gates are now closed.
Are they locked?
I don't know. You would have to go to them. You just said you didn't run that far because you're 50 yards away from the road.
I will creep up on the gates and see if they're locked.
I'm gonna have everybody roll.
You really want to split up with wolves everywhere?
Everybody roll an initiative for funsies.
Apparently we're within 15 feet of each other. That's not that far. We're rolling initiative, you said?
You're not within 15 feet of each other.
Make up your mind. Are we 15 feet inside the gate or not?
The body was 15 feet from the road.
Okay.
If you bolted, which is a double move,
Okay. Gotcha.
then you would be like 40-some feet down the road.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out
Actually,
where
you can run faster than that, can't you? Can you run faster than a double move? I'd have to look it up in the rules. You used to be able to run. You could run a dead run in a round for like 4 or 5 times your base speed.
I'm sorry, what are we rolling again?
Initiatives. I rolled a 17.
Unnatural 20.
18.
16.
Oh, jeez.
Christ.
So it was what?
We did not do
16,
20,
17.
18, 17, 16.
20,
Not bad
That's
at all,
all.
fellas.
17, 16.
I don't know.
And I'll take,
No, double move.
it is only double move. Good to know. The howls get louder. The 20 can act. 20 was
That's me.
Lucas.
How far away am I from... Okay, so I double moved. I'm really far away from everybody. What you're saying?
Well, you're 60 feet away from them.
I want to move as far as I can closer to the Dragonborn and ready in action. Can I do that?
Sure.
Ready what kind of action? We haven't been
I
engaged yet.
No, but I'm hearing things, so I just want to have
That's-
my rapier out ready to... Or I'm sorry, not my rapier, my short bow out ready to fire on something.
I probably have drawn my crossbow, hearing wolves.
Okay, so Lucas has moved back to the group and drawn a weapon. So you are 30 feet from the group because you can move and act, and because you can't double move. So
Right.
you're moving closer back to the group. The 18 was Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bozak, just drawing a weapon and standing your ground.
I'm motioning for everybody to circle up, and I'm facing outward. Like, if he's coming over to me, I'm getting shoulder to shoulder and facing away.
So
Well,
you're coming to me then?
you can move to him.
Okay, I moved to him.
Or you can stay there by me.
Or
If you're within 5 feet of me, I get
Yeah, I didn't run off like an asshole. I'm going back to back with the Davun.
All right.
I got my crossbow drawn
Within
and
5 feet
cocked.
of me, I get a sneak attack.
The 17
That helps.
is you, Jeff. Oh no, 17 is
It was me.
Colossus.
Yeah, I'll do the same as Lucas. Move towards...
All right. So at the moment, you're about 30 feet apart. So we're back to back here at the moment, and we're 30 feet spread. But now it's your turn. So if you don't want to be back to back, you don't have to be.
I'll draw my weapon,
Perception checks all around.
and I will cast resistance on Matt.
Nice.
What's that?
18.
13.
Your next saving throw, you get to add a d4 to it.
Nice.
How long is that spell effect?
1 minute.
Cool.
What am I rolling?
Perception.
I have 6.
I got a 9.
18.
Okay.
13.
You're very perceptive Goliath, sir.
He's tall. He can hear shit.
That makes any sense.
He's up higher, so it's...
So he could hear more?
Yes. His ears are bigger. He's big. He's a big
Is that
guy.
what you dream that tall people think?
Yeah.
Lestat and Pithur, you both realize that you hear a number of howls, and you hear them getting closer, and they're moving and they're running.
Should we get inside whatever building is nearby?
That house over there,
House.
right? And then what you said, there's a house? No. We saw a building, a structure?
The structure was the gate that we found.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, the gate was just between two. Otherwise, you're in the woods. Your only choice, as far as you can split through the woods, or you can run one of two ways down the road if you're going to run away.
If you go into the woods, then...
Let's get to this village. Fortify.
Stay close. Okay.
Would have been nice information to have before we all ran.
Away from each other?
Well, or towards each other, and then maybe the opposite direction. I mean,
Lucas, it's your turn.
Moving closer to the group.
You are.
You should double time run because I'm going to start walking towards him.
I only have to go 30 to get to you.
What?
Right, but if you double time, because we're all taking our actions at the same time, so if I'm going at 30 towards Troy, then you need to go 60 to get caught up in this round.
Okay, then I'll double time move.
So if you double time move, you're over here.
Okay.
Matt?
I do the same thing, cluster up with the group,
So you're going to move 30 to move up with the group?
Yep.
Okay.
keeping my crossbow out.
Troy?
Still got my short bow.
We're
technically next to you now.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I will run.
Okay. So you're running which direction? Woods to the gate, or down the road?
Can we tell where? I mean, can we tell what's down the road, or is it? I mean, we're just looking. It's down through some woods.
Make me a perception check. Or I would take a nature check. Or a survival check. Whichever one you'd like to roll.
Survival.
Okay.
You get a better one next time.
You can't tell. You would assume that the woods would open up eventually, but you can't really tell.
Thanks for using the cinnamon flavored or scented wax.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You should just use your wife's Sensi and just pour it. That'd be awesome.
Are we going to be running into the woods, or are we going to be running down the path?
I would think path.
It's going to be harder to traverse through the woods, I imagine, than the path.
Safety in numbers. That's why we're all together.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to know.
But if you're bolting, then you're not together. You're ahead of us.
Okay, but if I stay here, I do nothing.
So you keep an action ready and wait. Yes.
I don't want to wait.
Yes. Okay. It's your call.
Take off.
You're a barbarian. Hit the fucking tree that hit you in the face.
You're going to be the first one to get hit.
I'm just saying. I mean, woods also gives us cover.
If the wood's too thick to travel through?
You would consider it hazard. You can't move fast through the woods. You can't run through the woods. They're that thick.
But neither could a giant wolf.
Ideally, yes. But it's
But it's a magical giant
It's more
wolf,
hazardous
and
for us
Cody's got a dick-eating look on his face.
more hazardous for us to get through.
I'd like to point out that, Matt, in a game where you can play a character who breathes fire, do you think that the thickness of the woods is going to impede the animals that live there?
If I cast Firebolt on a tree, will it catch fire?
Is it real fire?
Yes. Firebolt real fire, yeah.
Then theoretically it could.
Are they wet?
Yeah,
Is
it's
what
very,
I'm
Yes.
it's
asking.
very
Okay.
wet out. Yeah.
And you feel the clinging of the dew and the mist. Okay. The sun still hasn't seemed to part its way through the clouds.
Cool. So whose turn is it? Oh, wait, did you say anything?
I'll stand still.
Okay, Troy's holding his ground. The other thing that you could do, theoretically, if you wanted to, Troy, well, you could hold your action to take a turn at another spot, if you wanted to. It's weird. It's a thing that you could do. I'm
It's the
pretty sure
same
you
as
can still do
ready
that in
action,
D&D.
essentially,
Say
right?
that.
It doesn't really have rules for it anymore.
Oh, never mind. You can't do that. I thought you could.
Rule warrior.
No,
I like when our DM has to ask.
I think
our
it's in
dwarf.
there.
Well,
Hold action's in there.
you used to be able to hold your initiative. So if your initiative, like if you were trying to combo you and Lucas, you could intentionally hold your initiative to a later number. and act on them. Sorry. The problem is that you're acting 3 out of 4, so you can hold to act right before Jeff, which you're going to anyway, or hold to act after Jeff, which also would not be helpful.
Yeah.
So you can just hold your action if you want.
Yes.
Okay. You're standing there. Jeff, you are 30 feet away from the group, who is now all booking it down the path.
He's not
Is
30
that
feet
30
away from the
feet?
group because if we're just running, it's kind of happening tandemly, right?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
You're seeing
So
everyone
your choice
run
is to
around
stay where you're at or run up with the group or run.
Yeah,
up with
I'm
the
running with the group,
Yeah.
but I guess
All right.
I'd be back there.
Oh yeah,
So you're keeping a little further back?
He has to. He can't run as fast as you guys.
Oh, okay.
He can if he's not doing anything else, he can speed up though, right? Because that'd be his
No,
action.
I still move slower than you
Colossus,
guys.
pick up
But
the
you
dwarf.
can do 50.
You could do 50, and what he says you can do 50, and you could be up.
So instead of doing 50, just do fucking 40. 41 and a half. Whatever.
41 and a half.
Okay.
All right.
I just don't want you to be left behind, you know.
Perception checks again.
11.
15.
Nat 20, 24.
23.
You now hear things. You hear the snapping of twigs. You hear the brush cracking under many, many paws. Lucas, you even hear the slathering of very large jaws.
Jowls.
Jowls. It's your turn, Lucas.
Coming from all around us, or
Yes.
Are we all just double moving to book it?
It's your action. What are you doing?
I'll just move my normal 30 down the path.
All right. Lucas is jogging down the path.
I'm with him.
All right.
Same.
Okay.
Same Z's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll cast
Do we
resistance
see
on
anything
myself.
in the near
Fair enough.
distance?
Not
Just
anytime
a
soon.
pathway?
Just path through woods.
Okay.
Which ends it on you.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
You still hear movement through the woods. Keep running.
Yeah.
Running. 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 And running. And running. And running. And running. And
They're
running.
hurting us.
Pretty soon they were hurting us.
No, they are hurting us.
Yeah, I know. And soon they will be hurting us.
You just stand
No,
back.
I don't think so.
And that's
Keep
when
running.
the attack comes. Not from the raptor in front, but from the two. You didn't even know we're there.
Clever girl.
Keep running.
Nope.
I think I'm going to stop and
Will
listen.
one of you say to stop, or
Stop!
or would I? If I
Collaborate.
survival roll, like, do our characters need to learn that they're hurting us, or are we just going for
No,
it?
that's up to you guys.
No, I'm stopping. You will hear me stop
No, I'm
because
gonna-
I make noise when I run.
I'm going to stop. Going by top of the order, I'll stop. I'm stopping. That's next.
I'm stopping and saying, "What the f-?
Follow suit.
I think they're hurting us. I think they're trying to lead us somewhere.
And I roll 15 on survival and agree with him.
Our title track, Nocturne, provided by Sleep for the Weary off their new album, Nocturnes. To find out more about Sleep for the Weary, check them out on iTunes, SoundCloud, Facebook, and at sleepfortheweary.com. Join in the brothel conversation on Facebook. Questions, comments, and suggestions can be sent to between2crits@gmail.com. Like what you heard? Subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Most of all, keep circulating the tapes.